Hello, if you're back, it is because it is time for one of my prediction videos for When Calls the Heart and Season 9. So stay tuned. Since you're here, click that button and subscribe, and click the bell and the word all for notifications. I'm down on the floor here and we're going to have a little chat. I'm in my office, which has been under construction forever, and it's getting somewhere. So I was like, I'm just going to sit on the floor and hang out with you, and we're going to chat about Season 9. So I was working on looking at my favorite places in Hope Valley. I covered the library, and then I covered Lucas's office. So my third favorite place is the center of Hope Valley. So many wonderful scenes take place in the center of Hope Valley. And I could do weeks worth of that, but I am going to narrow it down to 4. And I'm going to, I feel like my camera's moving all over the place. Hold on. So the first scene I want to share with you is that powerful episode from Season 5. It's the one where Erin and Abigail get the news that Jack has died.
Jack! Oh, so sorry. I thought you were someone else.
I'm looking for Elizabeth Thornton.
I'm Elizabeth Thornton. Has he been hurt?
No, ma'am.
Just tell me he's still alive.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
And she drops to her knees and she just screams out, Jack. It could have been over dramatic and, overacted. But let me tell you something, Erin Krakow, wow. I was looking at it earlier and it still made me cry. It broke my heart, and I was wondering if maybe she was channeling some of her sadness with Daniel leaving, and my goodness, it was so powerful. But it's my favorite because it's such a pivotal moment there. We see that Elizabeth's life is really going to change dramatically, and Erin did a great job of being authentic. So how does this relate to Season 9? Okay, here's how it relates to Season 9 in, Roxanne's mind, okay? I think that Season 9 is going to be an array of emotions for many of the characters. A lot is going on. I think it's going to be a very dramatic season, a lot of adventure for several characters. I've always said that the level of danger is elevated, and we know that just from the little sneak peeks that we've been getting where they're saying kaboom and pow and explosive is the storyline. The actors think they're funny. Anyway, I feel like that raw, those raw feelings and emotions that Elizabeth shared with us in that scene is going to continue in Season 9. I'm not saying that someone's going to die, but I do feel like that fear and her ache in her heart, because she has opened her heart to love, and that makes you very much vulnerable to pain. And I think that some things are going to scare her. I'm not saying that she has this rocky relationship with Lucas and it's all going to be dramatic. I don't think that at all, but I do think that we will see a powerful scene from her, especially towards the end, if I think it's going the way that it is. We're going to see that raw emotion, and it's, I don't know, they've never had a cliffhanger before, and I'm not saying they're going to end with a cliffhanger, but we are going to see some, maybe a cliffhanger in maybe one of the episodes until the next. It's going to be powerful, I just know it. Now, the second scene that I wanted to talk about that happens in the center of town is the one where Elizabeth meets Lucas. And I like it because there are several people outside, several characters are watching. We're getting introduced more into this brand new character, and you see Elizabeth flirting.
Morning, miss. You're gonna apply, I hope?
That depends. What's the position?
Waitress.
I see. And the qualifications?
Intelligence. Independence. Personality. I'd say you're perfect.
You don't even know me.
I can read people. That's what I do.
Well, I prefer reading books.
See? You're intelligent. I knew it. So, what about it?
Well, what if I turn out to be a clumsy oaf who spills beer everywhere?
I refuse to believe that that is possible. The job is yours if you want it.
It's a very tempting offer, but...
I'm Mrs. Doran.
Hi, boys. I'll see you at school.
You're the school teacher. And it's Mrs., not Miss.
Correct. On both counts.
Now, she hasn't flirted, of course, for a while, and that would be with Jack, but she was quite flirty with Jack, and here we see her flirting with the stranger. There is an instant attraction between the two. Now, whether the writers did that on purpose or not, although as a writer, I know you don't do anything accidentally, it could be, though, the way the two actors played the part or how it was directed. But it's delicious, and it's just a total opposite of what we've been seeing from Elizabeth. She's been sad. She's had a bittersweet moment with the birth of her baby. Just trying to get little Jack's room together was emotional. And now we see some lightheartedness in her. And I have to admit, season 6 had quite a bit of lightheartedness in their scenes for Elizabeth. And I think we're definitely going to see that in season 9, especially when it comes to more of the intimate scenes between Lucas and Elizabeth. I expect there to be some fun in it, because when the two actors get together, they have this comedic flair that feeds off of each other, and I love it. Just even like the little side jokes or the funny things that happen with them, like in the rainstorm and they got all soaked. That was cute. So I expect to see quite a bit of that in season 9, which is like the total polar opposite of the scene I just talked about. So we're going to have like these ups and downs in season 9, but it's going to be all deliciousness. It's going to be wonderful writing. It's going to weave together, and I like it because then we learn more about the characters. Now let's talk about my third scene. Is amazing because so many, and I have it, I'm showing it to you in stills, because if I uploaded it, I was going to get hit with a copyright infringement. It wouldn't even allow me to upload it probably. So you'll see the stills. And it's when Henry has his attack. And you see Christopher run out, and for the first time, I think it dawns on Christopher how much his father is, how important his father is to him. And again, you see him nervous and scared, and then we see it goes to Rachel and their storyline together because she cares so much about Christopher. And then you see Faith and Carson and Molly come out, and the dynamics that go on between the three of them. And then, of course, Elizabeth's out there, and Bill comes out, and Rosemary, and then eventually Lucas. And all of these different side storylines trickle out, which I love. And one of the side scenes that trickle out is Henry's. When Henry is having dinner later with Carson, you see that relationship of not just doctor and patient, but also of a friendship. And I like that there's a friendship there because Henry needs friends. Let's face it, Henry was a villain in the very beginning. He's had this whole big redemption storyline going on. And now I see more of a vulnerability coming out of him, especially with his love for his son. And I think we're going to see more of that in season 9. I also think we're going to see a bit of a hero inside of him, because if you remember when he had his conversation with Bill, he handed over that list of all the names of the people that were involved in that whole, fiasco with the mine. And he's like, your name's on this list. And he goes, I know my name is on the list. And he goes, you could go back to jail. And he goes, I know. So I feel like Henry is sort of like going to have like he's going to sacrifice himself in some way, maybe in a showdown. And I also think that he might be coming off of as a bit of a villain in his old ways, but then in the end, it's not going to be that at all. Not saying they're killing Henry off, although some people are predicting that. I don't predict that they're killing Henry off. No. If it is, I don't like that idea, okay? I like you rather just make you go off into the sunset, but not, see the light and see Jesus kind of sunset, okay? So back to this. Now, Christopher. I don't think Christopher will be back. If he is, that's great. But I think the idea of Christopher will be there. There'll be mention of him. It's an important part of who Henry has become. And Rachel and their little relationship. I'm hoping, you know, off in the sunset, they're together. We may or may not hear something about them. I'm not sure. But I like the idea of bringing those two families together. So the Gowan family and the Coulter family kind of having like a little connection. I think that's great. And Henry and Lee have had a connection all along. Also, it led to the scene between Elizabeth and Lucas, and that delicious scene in his office where she is there to comfort him. And I know we're going to see more of her having an active role of taking care of him. I think he's going to be very busy. He's going to have a lot on his plate, and she will be taking care of him as well as him taking care of her. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. And her relationship again and her courtship, because it was a little unique with Jack because she was trying to get used to the idea of danger and his whole job. And I feel like Lucas's job is going to wind up being a bit dangerous too in a different way. And she is more mature, but I feel like we're going to see more of her. And I'm going to move on now to the fourth and last scene, and that is the one with Faith. Now, again, I wanted to show all the parts of this, and then I got flagged with it. But I love how she came in and on that wagon, the people were in the town, like Rosemary and Lee had just come back from their trip. Elizabeth was in town, and they're all watching this this whole scene take place. And Carson's reaction to her. And I'm like, oh, they're going to have a rocky relationship this season. And they did. And I had predicted in previous episodes, it bothered me the way that it ended because I felt like there are too many loose ends. It wasn't like severed enough for me. So I'm thinking in season 9, I know we're not going to hear from Carson because Paul Green said he isn't in season 9, and I get that, but he's coming back somehow, some way. I don't care if it's in season 10 in a simple phone conversation, because what I think is happening with Faith is, I don't think they're throwing her into a love relationship yet, but we might see something developing towards the end of season 9. But I think in season 10, that will be her time to have a serious new love relationship, and hopefully for Faith it lasts, because in the past she has not been so lucky. And I think part of the reason why is that she is a forward thinker. She is a modern woman, and she needs a man who really can understand that. And even though Carson said he did, he really didn't. Often he would treat her like she was still his nurse, and he knew more than she did. Even though he said he didn't want to, he still did. Even in that scene with Henry, he behaved that way. So what I'm thinking is, when she is in the throes of a new relationship, then Carson will be back. Even if it's a guest appearance, maybe to help out with the surgery or passing through or whatever. It could be on the cusp of her big first date or after, or possibly an engagement, a marriage, whatever. But Carson is not gone, especially when it's linked to Faith. They still have some ironing out to do there. Now back to Faith. Faith and Fiona have become fast friends, and it's going to continue. Those two ladies are women or gals, are taking us into the 1920s. And they are very much modern women with a lot to say and great role models for someone like Allie and someone like Laura and someone like Opal. I am loving this and where she's going to go with her storyline. I do think that this is, you know, the year of Faith, or the season of Faith. And she's going to be very busy because the level of danger is very much elevated in season 9. We already know that that's happening for real. But besides her, being needed in the infirmary, I think it's going to connect her to many other storylines, which I like. She's not just going to be someone on the side and only needed when there's an infirmary problem, because she is going to be so involved. Then other storylines are going to bubble up, like they did with her conversations, and we got insights into her life when she was inside the nickels and dimes and talking and discussing with Fiona. So those girls are going to be like taking over Hope Valley in season 9. Okay, those are my predictions for season 9 and my love for the center of town and the scenes that take place. And next week, I will not have a prediction video because I'm going to predict on my podcast with Janine Marie. She's going to talk about her fan fiction chapters. It's coming down to the end of her story. And she is so hyper focused on detail. She is also a guru with history, and she has some wonderful ideas for season 9. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Bye.